Check this out from the New York Times. Administration officials believe the order lets immigration agents enter homes without warrants. It remains unclear whether the Trump administration will apply the law this way, but such an interpretation, experts say, would infringe on basic civil liberties. Trump admin lawyers have determined that an 18th century wartime law the president has invoked to deport suspected members of a Venezuelan gang allows federal agents to enter homes without a warrant, according to people familiar with the internal discussions. The first thing I'm going to say is, I don't believe you, New York Times. This is far-fetched, naming nobody, and even the title is ridiculous. But I still find it to be interesting because the conversation we've been having, the conversation I've been having with myself since yesterday and now with my friends is Trump now a wartime president? And I don't mean literal like World War II. What I'm saying is Abraham Lincoln suspended habeas corpus because of the conflict in this country. Are we in or entering a period where Donald Trump will have to act as a wartime president? Let me say this. I don't like the idea that Donald Trump is going to kick in someone's door. Not him, actually, it'll be hilarious if it's him personally. He walks up and it's just him. But the idea that he's going to send cops or immigration to a house, they're going to kick the door in and say, we don't need a warrant because you're harboring criminal illegal aliens or whatever. That sounds like a really bad idea. And that's why I've been saying since last year, even the year before, if Trump wants to implement deportations, it's got to be a guy in a polo shirt and khakis with a belt on and a clipboard, knocking on a door and then taking people to a nice, little van with only a couple people in it where they can go for deportation. None of this military vehicles, none of this, like putting them in detention centers on the border. You have to be very, very careful with how this is done. I don't want to see law enforcement thinking they can enter homes without warrants. That's insane.
That's a slippery slope, man.
Yeah.
That's a real slippery slope.
It is.
I mean, I understand, like, being over here illegally, you kind of forfeit your rights that a normal American citizen would have, but I still think just entering a home in general without any sort of consent or a warrant, that makes me uncomfortable.
What if there is a terrorist in that home?
I mean, again, like, I can't definitively say what I think would happen, but I just think it's a little scary.
What if there is a known terrorist who is being pursued by law enforcement and he runs inside of a house and locks the door, and as the law enforcement turn the corner, there's a bunch of people outside with their hands on their heads and they're like, he just ran in that house.
Yeah.
Can they go in then?
Wait for him to come out.
Well, isn't that
No,
what
honest question.
standoffs? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, stake it out.
I honestly think legally, if cops are in pursuit of a wanted criminal and the guy turns the corner and then enters a house and the police turn the corner and everyone's pointing at the house, he just went inside. Pretty sure that's probable cause and they can enter the building. Exigent circumstances.
Yeah, I mean, that wouldn't be, and it wouldn't be a problem to get, again, make sure that the house is locked down, call up a judge, get a warrant, be like, yo, people say that he went in there, we were following him, we think he's in there, give us a warrant. The judge can issue a warrant real quick.
I don't think they need it.
Maybe not.
I'm pretty sure if there are witnesses who said, we just watched a man enter that house. So when we got swatted, the cops were like, we don't need a warrant. Exigent circumstances. And I said, the hell you don't. You can't come in my house. And they were like, tell it to a judge. And they walked in. They didn't literally say tell it to a judge. They were like, we don't need your permission and we're going in your house. And I was like, well, I reject this. I oppose this and I deny permission. And they went in anyway. Because I don't want them walking through my house.
I mean, I think in the terrorist scenario, if it's black and white, like you said, like, it's easy to say, yeah, you should totally be able to go into the house or enter into the house and grab the suspect. But this is kind of shades of gray here. Like, what other people are in the house? Who really knows what's going on? I feel like that's why all of these standoffs happen quite a bit at a time. So,
yeah.
I mean, in Tim's like perfect scenario, yeah, the guy runs in, he's the only one in there, for sure, go in and get the guy. I think that's fine. But I think like when these things actually play out, like I said, it's a little bit more gray than just, or a little bit more gray than like, what do we actually do?
Here's the challenge. I don't disagree with you. The challenge is, over the past 4 years, we've had more people enter this country illegally than at any point in the history of this country. And some actually have argued that it is one of the largest mass migrations of humans in the history of humanity. So it is. It's in the top 5. The partition of India and Pakistan may be much bigger, but that was actually one big body and that was split. This is people coming from all over the world and entering the United States, with estimates ranging from like 10 to 20 million. This is apocalyptic for a culture, for a country, for an economy. Donald Trump says, I'm elected with immigration as the number 2 issue, and I need to enforce the law. And we must deport the worst of the worst: criminal, terroristic, illegal migrants, people who are in prison gangs. Now, as Joe Biden violated the Constitution and did all of the worst things imaginable, there's a guy in Arizona. Was it Arizona where the rancher got arrested?
Yeah, yeah. The old dude. Yeah.
So people are crossing onto his property. He claims that, I think what he said, they were shooting at him or something.
He thought they were.
He heard gunshots. So he goes out there, and I think he admitted he shot a guy illegally trespassing and breaking into the country. He went to prison. So when it comes to Joe Biden and his administration taking away our rights and assisting in the destruction of this country, oh boy, let me lay it out for you. When they put up shipping containers to block the barrier, they ordered them taken down. When the Texas National Guard put up concertina wire, the feds came in and said, don't you dare defy us. Let these people in. And when CBP under Joe Biden knew they were trafficking children into sex slavery, they did it with smiles on their faces.
Just let it happen.
And we all watched that happen. But because it wasn't personal to us, we say it's a bad thing that must be stopped. And the liberals say we like it. Now the shoe is on the other foot. Donald Trump is the president, and these criminals got to go. Now what we hear is, and I mean no disrespect when I say this, but now what we hear is we cannot be like Biden, meaning we're going to have to be constrained with our hands tied behind our backs, and the criminals and the sex slavers who are brought into this country, oh boy, we might not be able to remove all of them. So this is what I mean by wartime presidency. Joe Biden, and I'm going to say it again, ask Dr. Phil, don't take my word for it. Dr. Phil on The View said he interviewed CBP agents. The video is public. You can watch the CBP agents say this, the head of the union. Children are brought in with numbers on their arms or hands. CBP knows these are sex slavery rings for children, and they were instructed to allow them in. So when Donald Trump says, I am going to go above and beyond to get these criminals out of this country, what we end up hearing is, oh man, we can't do these things. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't want feds or cops kicking in any doors without warrants. Screw that. But at the very least, when it comes to Trump putting these criminals on airplanes and saying, see you later, the judges are trying to stop him from doing it. That's what I mean by wartime president. Is Trump going to say, here's what you did, and my justification is everything I just said? Or are we going to sit back and say, no, Joe Biden and the Democrats, Schumer, they did untold evils, and we're going to tolerate it because our Constitution says we have to?
Mm-hmm. No, I think that like I said, Donald Trump has a mandate, and I think that the fact that there are people trying to, judges trying to interpose themselves means that you have to have it's extenuating circumstances, and there has to be some way.
Welcome to hell.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. Believe me, it's not something that I'm excited about. But you've had the left behaving outside, doing things outside of the law, and people have been making excuses for it and accepting it. Now that the Republicans have the power, it's time to use it.
I've for many years been preaching fire with fire. I might have calmed down kind of a little bit, but I doubt it. But Trump needs to stand up. Literally, it's been an invasion, which is an intrusion and encroachment, which we've had the last couple of years. So we're definitely getting invaded, and we can't. If we want to save America and have a good culture, we just can't let these millions of people come in here, break our laws, and just do what they want to do. That makes zero sense. How do they have free play?
Welcome to hell.
I don't like hell.
Because the issue is it wasn't started by Trump. What we've seen over the past several years in the Biden administration, how do we tolerate, and I think it's the most egregious of crimes, that our law enforcement officers in CBP were knowingly sending children to sex slavery. I'll say it 50 million times because they did.
Efforts.
And the head of the CBP union said it. There are numerous independent reporters who went down there and have talked about how this is going on. We know, Donald Trump knows, the coyotes, they take young girls, they rape them as part of their human smuggling operation.
James O'Keefe had that one gentleman, and he got in trouble for
That's right.
beans. That's
right. And this whole time this is happening, was there a conversation of, oh no, the Constitution is being violated? Well, sure, on our side. So when Donald Trump comes to respond to this, the only answer is, boy, I tell you what, you guys should watch The Patriot with Mel Gibson. You ever see that one?
I need to rewatch it.
Because Mel Gibson says, it's such a good movie. It is the best movie. Have you seen The Patriot with Mel Gibson? Oh, yeah.
We're going to watch it on the big screen.
We should put it on.
Yeah.
Yes, we should. They're having a meeting of the it's a constitutional convention. Should we declare war? And he says, no, no, no. And they were like, so what would you have us do? The king basically keeps trampling our rights. And he says, petition the king. We've tried that. It doesn't work. And it was petition again and again and again. That plea feels so much to me like what Republicans and people on the right have been doing for a decade. Just keep pleading, keep petitioning somebody who has no intention of listening to what you have to say. But then he makes another great point. He says, mark my words, this war will not be fought on some faraway battlefield. It'll be fought in front of your homes, and your children will learn of it with their own eyes. So the issue now is, you may not have asked for what Joe Biden did to this country, but if we want to see Donald Trump use his authority to deport people and uphold the law, shut down these corrupt institutions like USAID, they are going to continue waging war administratively against him. And Trump's option is going to have to be, your words mean nothing to me, because I've seen, well, we can go with the trope, your boos mean nothing, I've seen what makes you cheer. But in all seriousness, your rulings mean nothing, because I've seen what you ruled for and against.
Yep.
Base.
I mean, yeah, I mean, I don't have a whole lot more to add. It's like just this is, we've been here for a long time. The left has been using tax money to with USAID to install the policies they want. NGOs have been abusing the American people and abusing the financial system that we have, the funding system that we have, and it's time for it to stop. And we should ignore the people on the left in the same way that the people on the left ignored people on the right. They're going to act this way. They're going to say, oh, Donald Trump is this and that. Donald Trump is so bad. He's Hitler, blah, blah, blah. That is nothing new. This is all of the same tropes they've been saying for the past 10, 12 years or whatever. Ignore them and exercise power because you have it. Because they were doing it.
Yes.
They were doing it while they had power. Joe Biden tried to tweet an amendment into the Constitution.
That's right.
He straight up said, oh, yeah, by the way, the ERA is now a thing, even though it clearly wasn't. It was ridiculous that he even tried it. And there were multiple people in Congress and in the administration that were echoing the tweet that he made, trying to convince people that an amendment had been put into the Constitution that didn't get ratified. So ignore them. Run over them, because right now the Republicans have the power. Donald Trump has the power, and he has the authority to do these things.
Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.